It is 6:47 in the morning, Terminal 4, John F. Kennedy International Airport. A man named Marcos, 41 years old, father of three, stands in the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Secondary Screening Hall. He has been in this country for 14 years. He owns a home in New Jersey. He coaches his son's soccer team on Saturdays. He is a lawful permanent resident. He has a green card. He just returned from his mother's funeral in Guadalajara. He was gone for 11 days. Now, two officers are sitting across from him. One is taking notes. The other is holding a tablet. On that tablet, Marcos's face, his fingerprints, his travel history, his entire biometric profile, and on the screen one word: flagged. Marcos does not know why. He does not know what changed while he was gone. He does not know that 3 months ago, quietly without headlines, a new biometric screening protocol was expanded at every major U.S. port of entry. He only knows one thing: he is not going home tonight. Here's the truth they are not telling you. Right now, at this very moment, green card holders are being stopped, questioned, detained, and in some cases stripped of their entry rights at U.S. airports. Not because they did anything wrong, but because they didn't know the rules had changed. The new biometric requirements are not a rumor. They are not speculation. They are real. They are active, and they are catching people completely off guard. If you are a green card holder, if you have traveled internationally in the last 6 months, if you are planning to travel, you need to stop whatever you are doing and watch this entire video. Because what you don't know about these new rules could cost you your legal status, your right to return, your family, your life in America, not tomorrow, not eventually, right now, at the airport, this week. Here's the mistake most green card holders make, and it is devastating. They treat their green card like a passport. They think, I have the card, I am legal, I can come and go freely. They believe the card itself is the protection. It is not. A green card is not a guarantee of re-entry. It is a status document. And that status can be questioned, challenged, and even abandoned under specific legal conditions. Most people do not know this. Most people have never been told this. And most people only find out standing in a secondary screening room after it is already too late to prepare. The officers are trained to look for specific patterns you create without realizing it, patterns that, under the new biometric and behavioral screening protocols, can trigger an automatic flag, an automatic referral to secondary, and in some cases, an expedited removal proceeding. That means you could be sent back on the next plane, without a court date, without a hearing, without the chance to call your attorney. The mistake is assuming you are safe just because you've traveled before without a problem. Past entry does not protect you from present scrutiny. The rules have changed, the technology has changed, the threshold has changed, and the green card holders who don't know this are walking into airports right now, completely unprotected. Don't be one of them. You've traveled internationally with your green card 5 times. Each time, no problem, smooth, easy, welcome home. So you book the trip again. You don't think twice. Here is the truth. The new biometric screening system does not care about your travel history. It analyzes your current data, retina scans, facial recognition, fingerprint cross-referencing against updated Federal Watch databases and risk assessment algorithms that were not in place during your previous trips. Familiarity breeds complacency. If it worked before, the brain says it will work again. That assumption is a trap. Before any international travel, run a self-check. Verify there are no administrative holds, expired documents, or outstanding issues on your immigration record. Consult an immigration attorney or accredited representative, even for a 30-minute review, before you book any flight outside the U.S. Now, the second trap. And this one has destroyed lives. You were outside the United States for more than 180 days. You had a reason: a sick parent, a family emergency, a business matter that took longer than expected. You come back with your green card. You believe you are fine. Under U.S. immigration law, specifically INA Section 316B, absences of 180 days or more can be used as evidence that you have abandoned your permanent resident status. Absences over 1 year create a presumption of abandonment, unless you had a re-entry permit in place before you left. People focus on the emergency, not the legal consequences. They think the reason justifies the absence. Officers are not there to hear your reason. They are there to assess your record. If you were gone more than 6 months, even for a valid reason, you must be prepared with documented evidence: medical records, death certificates, employer letters, lease agreements, tax filings, family declarations. If you were gone more than 1 year without a re-entry permit, speak to an immigration attorney before you get on the return flight. Do not arrive unprepared. The third trap, and it catches the most careful people. The CBP officer smiles. They seem friendly. The questions seem routine. Where did you travel? How long? What do you do for work? Do you have family here? What's your home address? You answer. You are cooperative. You want to seem helpful. Every answer you give at a port of entry is being entered into a federal database. Officers are trained in cognitive interview techniques designed to surface inconsistencies, not to catch criminals, but to find any discrepancy that justifies a secondary referral. A small inconsistency, even an innocent one, can spiral into an hour of secondary screening. An hour can become a full detention. People believe being cooperative means answering everything fully. It doesn't. You have a right to answer questions, and you have a right to answer carefully. Answer truthfully, but answer simply. Do not elaborate beyond what is asked. Do not guess on dates, durations, or addresses. If you are unsure of a fact, say, "I would need to check my records to give you the precise information." Simple, truthful, controlled. The fourth trap is new, and it is catching people who have done everything right. You arrive at the airport, you approach the automated biometric kiosk, the system scans your face, your fingerprints, and then a light turns red. A clerk directs you to secondary screening. You don't know why. Neither does the officer at first. The expanded biometric system, part of DHS's biometric entry-exit program, is now cross-referencing traveler data against a broader set of databases than ever before. Criminal justice records, visa overstay records from other countries, law enforcement flags, and in some cases, data sharing agreements with foreign governments. If there is a mismatch, even one caused by a data entry error, you will be flagged, and you will have to resolve it in secondary screening. People assume the system is accurate. They assume their record is clean. Data errors happen all the time, and people don't know they have a flag until they're standing under fluorescent lights with their luggage at 7 in the morning. Use the DHS TRIP, Traveler Redress Inquiry Program, tool before international travel. You can submit a request to review your records and resolve any flags that may exist before they become a problem at the border. Do not wait until you're at the kiosk to find out your record has an issue. Now, let's talk about what protects you, because the law is not only a weapon that can be used against you, it is also a shield, and most immigrants never learn how to use it. U.S. law recognizes that lawful permanent residents have a right to re-entry, but officers must follow specific procedural requirements before initiating any removal proceedings against a returning LPR. They cannot simply take your green card. They cannot simply deny your entry without documentation. They must follow the legal process. You also have the right, even at a port of entry, to decline to answer questions beyond basic identification. You have the right to say, "I would like to speak with an attorney before answering further questions." This sentence, these exact words, can stop a secondary screening from escalating. It signals to the officer that you know your rights, that you are not going to be pressured into self-incrimination. Under 8 CFR 235.3, expedited removal has strict legal limitations for lawful permanent residents. An LPR cannot be subject to expedited removal in most circumstances. If an officer tries to suggest you are being removed without a hearing, you have the right to request a formal removal proceeding before an immigration judge. This right protects you from being put on a plane without due process. Knowing these laws is not paranoia, it is preparation. And preparation is the only thing standing between you and a nightmare at the border. Here is your action plan. Follow every step. Step 1. Run your record before you travel. Check your biometric records using the DHS TRIP system at dhs.gov TRIP. Submit an inquiry if you have ever been flagged, delayed, or questioned at a border, even years ago. Resolve any issues before you buy a ticket. Step 2. Carry a travel document package, not just your green card, in a folder or on your phone. Carry your green card, your last 2 years of U.S. tax returns, proof of U.S. residency, an employment letter or pay stubs, and any documentation explaining the purpose of your trip. Do not walk into a port of entry with only your green card. The card starts the conversation, your documents finish it. Step 3, know the 180-day rule and take it seriously. If your trip approaches or exceeds 180 days, take legal action before you leave. Apply for a re-entry permit using Form I-131 with USCIS before departing. This is your legal protection against abandonment claims. Do not leave without it if your trip will be long. Step 4, practice your answers before you land. Know these facts by memory. The exact dates you left and returned, the purpose of your trip, your U.S. home address, your employer's name and address. Officers may ask these questions in rapid succession. Hesitation creates suspicion. Preparation creates confidence. Step 5, at the kiosk or primary inspection, be calm, brief, and direct. Answer what is asked, nothing more. Do not volunteer extra information. Short answers, steady voice, calm demeanor. Step 6, if you are sent to secondary screening, say this sentence immediately. I am a lawful permanent resident. I would like to contact my attorney before answering additional questions. Say it clearly. Say it calmly. Write down the name and badge number of every officer you interact with. Step 7. Do not sign anything without reading it and without understanding it. Signing certain forms can waive your right to a hearing. If an officer pressures you to sign quickly, say, "I need time to read this document and speak with my attorney." You are not being difficult. You are protecting yourself legally. Step 8. After any incident, consult an immigration attorney within 48 hours, even if you were eventually admitted without a problem, if you were sent to secondary, if you were questioned for more than 30 minutes, if any officer made a comment about your status, document everything, then get legal advice. What happens at the border can affect your naturalization application, it can affect your future travel. Document it now, address it now, don't wait. The airport is not the only place this happens. It is a Tuesday afternoon in Chicago. A woman named Priya, 36 years old, software engineer, green card holder for 6 years, is walking from her office to the parking garage. Two plainclothes agents approach her. They show badges. "Ma'am, are you a U.S. citizen?" She says no. "Can we see your ID?" She hands over her green card. One agent photographs it. The other one says, "We'd like to look at your phone, just to confirm a few things." Priya freezes. She doesn't know what to do. She unlocks her phone. This is the moment that can change everything. You're not required to unlock your phone for law enforcement, not on the street, not at an interior checkpoint, not without a warrant. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Your phone contains your entire life, your messages, your emails, your contacts, your financial records, your location history. Handing it over voluntarily gives officers access to information that could be used in ways you cannot anticipate. What Priya should have said, clearly, calmly, "I do not consent to a search of my phone." That's it. Not aggressive, not panicked, clear, direct, legal. You are also not required to answer questions about where you were born, how you entered the country, or your immigration history, without an attorney present. You have the right to say, "I am choosing not to answer questions without my attorney present." And then you have the right to ask, "Am I free to go?" If the answer is yes, leave calmly. If the answer is no, you are being detained. At that point, do not answer any more questions. Do not resist physically. Repeat one sentence. "I want to speak with my attorney." This is not defiance. This is the law working exactly as it was designed to work, to protect every person on American soil, regardless of status. The Constitution does not say citizens only. It says persons. That word includes you. I want to speak to you directly now, not as a viewer, as a person. You came to this country and you built something. Maybe it was a business. Maybe it was a family. Maybe it was simply a life. A quiet, decent, hardworking life that you built brick by brick, year by year, sacrifice by sacrifice. You filed the forms, you paid the fees, you waited, you followed the rules. And now, in an era of shifting policies, new technology, and increased enforcement, you are being asked to navigate a system that is more complicated and more unpredictable than it has ever been. That is not fair. It is not fair that you have to carry a folder of documents just to come home. It is not fair that you have to practice what to say at a border inspection. It is not fair that a data error in a federal system could ruin your trip and shake your sense of security. None of this is fair, but here's what I know about you. You are not someone who gives up when things get hard. You did not cross an ocean or a border or every obstacle this country put in your path, just to be defeated by a policy change. You are smarter than the trap, you are stronger than the fear, and you are not alone. There are millions of people in this country who are walking the same road you are walking, legal, documented, hardworking, loved, and all of them right now need the same thing you need: information, preparation, community. When you know your rights, you walk differently, you speak differently, you carry yourself differently, not with arrogance, with dignity. And dignity, quiet, unshakable dignity, is the most powerful thing you can bring to any encounter with any officer at any border. You belong here, not because of the card in your wallet, but because of the life you have built, because of the taxes you paid, because of the neighbors who know your name, because of the children who call this country home, because you were brave enough to make it yours. You belong here. Know your rights, protect your status, and never let fear make you smaller than you are. Before you close this video, think about one person, just one. A parent who is planning to visit family abroad and doesn't know about the 180-day rule, a friend who is returning from a long trip and has no idea what a biometric flag is, a cousin, a co-worker, a neighbor, someone who is going to walk into an airport in the next few weeks completely unaware of what this video just told you. Send it to them, not because you're sharing a video, because you might be preventing a family from being torn apart at an airport, because you might be the reason someone says the right sentence at the right moment, because information shared at the right time is the most powerful protection any immigrant has. You now know something that most people don't. Share it. This channel exists for one reason: to make sure that every immigrant in this country, documented, working, dreaming, contributing, has access to the information that protects them. Not to create panic, not to spread fear, but to close the gap between what the system knows and what you know. Because that gap is where mistakes happen. That gap is where rights get lost. That gap is where families get separated. We close that gap together. The information in this video is based on current U.S. immigration law, DHS policy, and CBP enforcement guidelines as publicly documented. Immigration law is complex and changes frequently. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. For your specific situation, always consult a licensed immigration attorney or accredited representative. Do not navigate this alone. Get qualified legal help and stay informed. Subscribe for weekly updates on U.S. immigration law because the rules keep changing and you deserve to know. Drop your question in the comments. We read every one. And if this video helped you, like it. It tells the algorithm that this information needs to reach more people. More people means more protection. That's why we're here.